All right, check this out. If you're in the last mile delivery industry, we have created something that's just for you. We've called it the Last2First huddle, or the L2F huddle. We can come into an ecosystem or community built for the last mile by the last mile. Now, you'll be able to get access to educational courses, right? Playbooks, as I call them. We build playbooks teaching you everything from A to Z in the last mile industry. Everything from how to set your right driver model, to how to navigate misclassification issues, to how to find customers, how to price that work, how to operate it, all the way through to if you want to buy a company, how do you value those businesses. We also have an AI tool called Ask Miles. Miles will answer any how-to question about the industry. I've personally trained it myself. It's pretty damn good. And then also, we're about community. So you're going to access coaches, experts. We have film studies or weekly calls. You'll be able to deep dive into workshops. Look, this is the place to be if you're in the last mile industry. L2Fhuddle.com. I'll see you inside. It's time to huddle up. Let's do it.
I'd like to consider us as what you call a customized logistics company, right? Because we're getting SOPs from all over the place. You know, we do a lot of heavy marketing and advertising, so we're getting requests for all kinds of stuff. You know, pool distribution, bringing a bunch of POP displays and it's going to different stores, or just storage and you know, inventory and, you know, pick and pack. Or, hey, we're going to contract a driver. We're going to give you a driver. We're going to give you a truck. We're going to give you all the compliance, and you just pay by the hour, and you route the truck, right? So we call that contract logistics, you know. So fifth dimension, I'd like to consider it as not just a courier company or air freight company or any of those specific very segment, you know, final mile company, but more of a custom logistics company.
Got it. So you fit the solution to the customer's needs.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
Now, where, from a geographical standpoint, where do you operate?
Yeah, so we started out, Fifth Dimension's basically a spinoff of a much larger existing company that was founded in 1983 by my father, Atlantic Freight. And we ended up ultimately getting bought out by XPO. But they didn't want all these satellite offices. And so when we started out, we were in Los Angeles, we were in Vegas, we were in Orlando, we were in Queens, you know, and then, of course, upstate New York. They only wanted our 200,000 square foot facility in Elizabeth, and they wanted the two contracts we had, which was FedEx and Amazon. And that was the DDU postal injection, right?
Yeah, which is gone away.
It's huge. Yeah, it's gone away, and it's, you know, it's all been internalized, you know. Amazon's doing their own stuff, obviously, but starting out, they you know, wanted to, you know, start taking it over.
Yeah.
But
What year was this XPO?
This was in 2014.
2014. Okay.
So XPO came in. They didn't want all these satellite offices. At the time, I was 28, and I went from owning my own drayage company, sea container company, that went out of business because of Sandy, and me and my partner were had a lot of disputes and stuff like that. So we just realized it was a good time to, you know, shut it down on our terms, right, and get ahead of the curve before it got worse. So I came back to Atlantic, and my job basically was to interface with all these satellite offices, right? So XPO came in, and they just really had no interest in these satellite offices. So at the time I was 28, and I had the chance to go to my father and say, hey, look, let's get your partners out. Let's take this over. You know, let's do a spinoff. You know, I'm 28 at the time, so I want to build an empire, you know, filled with piss and vinegar, so to speak, you know, wanted to do something. And I already had, like, you know, a lot of integration with all these stations, right? I knew all the staff, and, you know, I think they would have been affected, you know. We don't know what the future of those would be if everything was kind of tucked into that deal. So we created Fifth Dimension Logistics. That was the vessel entity to kind of take it all over. Then throughout the years, I realized that, you know, trying to be a governor, right, of a state that's like 2,500 miles away just doesn't really work out.
Because you were in LA, Vegas?
Los Angeles and Vegas.
Los Angeles, Vegas.
Yeah. Los Angeles was very small. We basically had two big customers. One was UFC. It wasn't UFC itself, but, you know, they're related to UFC with all the merchandise. You know what I mean? And then we also were doing like a lot of movie theater displays and stuff like that. So it was two big accounts, very profitable, managed with just 2 employees, you know. But, you know, just operating in California is just a lot of challenges.
Different animal.
So, you know, we figured out that it would be better to have an agent that's already based out there, living in there, integrated with the state, knows how to navigate all the laws, you know what I mean? So we started handling that work through them,
Okay.
and then we basically pulled out.
Got it.
And then Vegas actually is pretty interesting. In 2016, we ended up giving that station to the employees,
Okay.
you know, because we were flying back and
You
forth.
gave it to them.
Gave it to
Not sold it to them, gave it to them.